Captain John stared at the main view screen, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the instruments. The asteroid field stretched before them, a perfect hiding spot for the last human warship in existence. His ship. The HSS Defiant. "Status report," he ordered, his voice calm despite the weight pressing on his shoulders. "Main engines at 68% capacity. Weapon systems operational but ammunition reserves at 32%, replied Anna from her station. The tactical officer didn't need to say what they all knew, they couldn't survive another major engagement. John nodded, running a hand through his gray-streaked hair. 10 years of running, fighting, and watching humanity's fleet dwindle from hundreds of mighty warships to just one. The Defiant wasn't even their most powerful vessel, just the luckiest. Or perhaps the most cursed, forced to witness the fall of Earth and its colonies one by one. "Sir," called Mark from communications, his young face tight with concern. "I've intercepted alien transmissions. Their encryption is getting sloppy." "Or they don't care if we hear any more," muttered Tom, the gunner who had destroyed more alien vessels than anyone in human history. Not that it had made much difference in the end. Mark shook his head. "They're gathering their fleet. At least 300 ships. They've located Haven." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Haven, the last human outpost, hidden deep in the outer reaches of the system. 10,000 souls, all that remained of humanity's trillions. "How long?" John asked. 2 days, sir. They're conducting a final muster before the attack. Bill, the chief engineer, laughed bitterly from his station. 300 against 1. Better odds than usual. John stood up slowly, walking to the viewport where he could see the actual stars beyond the digital displays. Somewhere out there, the alien armada was preparing for what they thought would be their final victory. "We're not running this time," he said quietly. The bridge crew exchanged glances. "Sir?" Anna questioned. "Haven can't evacuate in time. There's nowhere left to run anyway." John turned, determination hardening his features. "We're going to make a stand." Tom grinned, the first genuine smile John had seen from him in months. "About damn time." "Computer," John called. "Activate Max." A holographic figure appeared at the center of the bridge, a simple blue outline of a human form. Max was the Defiance AI system, upgraded countless times with data from each alien encounter. "Captain," the AI acknowledged. "I detect elevated stress hormones among the crew. Are we planning something foolish? The aliens are moving on Haven. 300 ships." Max processed this information instantly. Probability of successful defense with conventional tactics, 0.0003%. "Then we won't use conventional tactics," John replied. "You've been analyzing their battle strategies for years. What are we missing? What haven't we tried?" The AI's form flickered as it accessed its vast database. "Their shield technology has remained consistent despite our adaptations. However, I have observed a 0.03-second vulnerability during weapons discharge, too brief for human reflexes to exploit." "But not too brief for you," John said. "Correct. With direct interface to weapon systems and sufficient power allocation, I could theoretically target these vulnerabilities." Bill stepped forward. "Captain, if we reroute power from the secondary systems and give Max control of the targeting arrays. Could it work?" John asked. The engineer shrugged. "Maybe. It's better than certain death." John looked around at his crew, the last crew of the last ship. They had fought alongside him through impossible odds, watched friends and family die, and never surrendered. "Send a message to Haven," he ordered Mark. "Tell them to prepare their defenses. Tell them." He paused, "Tell them the Defiant is coming." As the message was sent, John remembered the day the war began. The alien ships appearing without warning above Earth's major cities. Humanity had been unprepared, divided by petty conflicts. Their weapons had barely scratched the alien shields. But 10 years of desperate fighting had taught them much. And perhaps, just perhaps, it was enough. Plot a course to intercept their fleet, John commanded. All hands to battle stations. As the Defiant's engines hummed to life, pushing them out of the asteroid field and toward certain doom, John felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Hope. The Defiant shuddered as emergency repairs continued throughout its battle-scarred hull. Bill moved frantically between maintenance shafts, his hands steadied despite the pressure. 10 years of keeping this ship together had made him a miracle worker of sorts. Reactor output stabilized at 87%, he reported through his comm. Any higher and we risk a cascade failure. In the weapons bay, Tom calibrated the main gun arrays with methodical precision. Each cannon had been modified over the years, improvements made with salvaged alien technology after each battle. What had once been standard human weaponry now contained elements never intended to work together. Max, Tom called to the AI. Run the targeting simulations again. The AI's voice emerged from nearby speakers. Simulation complete. With current modifications, we can penetrate alien shields at the calculated vulnerability points with 62% probability of success. Tom grunted. Not good enough. Increase power to the targeting computers. That would require reducing life support to minimum levels, Max warned. So we'll wear extra layers, Tom replied. Better cold than dead. On the bridge, Captain John studied the tactical display showing the approaching alien fleet. Their formation was tight and organized, hundreds of ships moving as one deadly force. Against them stood the Defiant alone, a tiny blip on the massive screen. Anna worked at her station, analyzing the data from their previous encounters. Their fleet composition is different this time, she observed. More heavy destroyers than usual. They're expecting resistance at Haven. They won't be expecting us, John said. Not like this. Mark pushed away from his communication station and approached the captain. Sir, I've sent the warning to Haven. They've acknowledged receipt but... He hesitated. Speak freely, John encouraged. They're asking if evacuation is possible. There are children there, sir. John closed his eyes briefly. Tell them to prepare whatever ships they have. If we create an opening, they need to be ready to run. But make it clear, the aliens will pursue them unless we stop the fleet here. Lisa, normally quiet at her science station, spoke up. Captain, I've been analyzing the alien communication patterns. There's a strange synchronization between their ships when they're in combat formation. John moved to her station. Explain. Their shields don't just protect individual vessels, Lisa said, pointing to her data. There's an energy pattern linking them together, like a network. It strengthens their overall defense. And if we disrupt that network? John asked. Lisa looked up, a spark of excitement in her eyes. It could potentially cascade through their formation. John immediately called for Bill. I need you on the bridge. Lisa may have found something. As preparations continued, crew members found quiet moments to record personal messages. They stored them in a protected data core, designed to survive even if the ship didn't. Hey sis, Mark spoke softly to his recorder. If you're still out there at Haven, I want you to know we're coming. And if this works, you'll have a future. Take care of little Joey. Tell him about Earth someday. He paused, fighting emotion. Tell him it was beautiful. In his quarters, John recorded his own message, not to any individual but to history. This is Captain John of the HSS Defiant. If anyone finds this record, know that humanity fought to its last breath. We did not go quietly. He straightened in his chair. What follows is the technical data on alien shield vulnerabilities. Use it well. The ship's alert system interrupted, Max's voice filling every compartment. Alien Vanguard detected. 6 vessels approaching our position. John returned to the bridge immediately, finding his crew at their stations. They're sending a scouting party, Anna reported. Standard procedure before committing their main fleet. Perfect, John said. Let's show them exactly what they expect to see, a desperate ship running for its life. He took his command chair, feeling the familiar weight of responsibility. Helm, set course away from the Vanguard, full thrust. Make it look good. He glanced at Tom. Weapons, prepare a rear-firing spread but deliberately miss your first volley. Tom raised an eyebrow. Sir? I want them overconfident, John explained. Let them think we're panicking. The Defiant's engines roared to life, pushing the ship away from the approaching alien vessels. Enemy ships accelerating, Anna announced. They're taking the bait. John watched the tactical display as the distance between them and their pursuers decreased. His plan hinged on timing, precision, and a considerable amount of luck. All hands, he announced ship-wide. Prepare for combat maneuvers. This is where we start fighting back. As the alien ships closed in, hungering for an easy kill, the crew of the Defiant steeled themselves for the battle to come. The odds were impossible, but they had accepted that reality long ago. They weren't fighting for victory anymore. They were fighting for vengeance. The 6 alien vessels pursued the Defiant through the outer reaches of the asteroid field, their weapons charging. They moved with the confidence of predators cornering wounded prey. 15 seconds until they're in optimal firing range, Anna reported, her fingers dancing across her tactical display. Captain John nodded, watching the distance markers tick down. Steady, maintain current speed and trajectory. The bridge crew maintained their focus, years of combat experience evident in their comm efficiency. This wasn't their first desperate gamble, merely their last. Enemy weapons powering up, Mark called out. They're preparing to fire. John leaned forward in his command chair. Now. Execute pattern Delta. The Defiant suddenly cut its main engines and fired lateral thrusters at full power. The massive warship pivoted with surprising agility, bringing its forward weapons arrays to bear on the pursuing aliens. Fire! John ordered. Tom's hands flew across his weapons console. The Defiant's main cannons roared to life, releasing a barrage that deliberately fell short of the lead alien vessel. Second volley, deliberately off target, Tom confirmed, following the captain's strategy. On the view screen, the alien ships adjusted their approach, growing bolder. They didn't alter their defensive posture, exactly as John had hoped. They're not raising full shields, Anna confirmed. They think we're malfunctioning. John's eyes narrowed. Max, are you integrated with the targeting systems? The AI's calm voice responded, affirmative, Captain. I am tracking the shield modulation patterns of all 6 vessels. Wait for my mark, John commanded. The ship trembled as a glancing blow from an alien energy weapon struck their outer hull. Minor damage to Deck 4, Bill reported from engineering. Hull integrity at 92%. John watched as the alien vessels spread out, attempting to surround the Defiant. Their formation created a perfect opportunity. They were linked by their network shield system, just as Lisa had theorized. Max, target the lead vessel's shield emission points. Fire when the vulnerability window opens. Acknowledged, the AI responded. Vulnerability window calculated. Firing in 3, 2, 1. The Defiant's weapons discharged with perfect timing. Unlike the previous volleys, these shots were deadly accurate, striking the lead alien ship precisely as its shields fluctuated to release excess energy. The effect was immediate and devastating. The alien vessel's shields collapsed entirely, and the Defiant's energy beams cut through its hull like a knife through paper. Direct hit. Tom exclaimed, unable to contain his excitement. Their lead ship is breaking apart. The remaining alien vessels reacted with visible confusion, their formation faltering as they attempted to compensate for the unexpected loss. They're increasing power to their shields, Anna reported. The vulnerability window is shrinking. Max, can you still target it? John asked. Affirmative, but with reduced probability of success. Recalculating firing solutions. The ship rocked violently as the alien vessels, now aware of the threat, concentrated their fire on the Defiant. Hull breach on Deck 6. Bill shouted over the comm, emergency force fields holding, but we can't take much more of this. John made a split-second decision. Helm, take us into the denser part of the asteroid field. Full speed. The Defiant surged forward, plunging toward a cluster of massive space rocks. The alien ships followed, their larger size making navigation more difficult for them. Sir, they're still in pursuit but they've tightened their formation to maintain their shield network, Anna observed. John smiled grimly. Perfect. Max, target the smallest ship in their formation. Full power to forward cannons. Captain, Max replied, I've identified a pattern in their shield network. The smaller vessel appears to be a relay node for their defensive grid. Even better. Fire when ready. The Defiant slipped between two enormous asteroids, then suddenly reversed thrust and rotated to face their pursuers. As the alien ships emerged from behind the asteroids, Max fired with perfect timing. The smallest alien vessel's shields flickered and failed. The Defiant's energy beam struck with devastating accuracy, causing the ship to explode spectacularly. What happened next exceeded even Lisa's predictions. The destruction of the relay node sent a power surge through the aliens' linked defensive system. Two more vessels immediately lost shield integrity, their hulls rupturing from the feedback. 3 down. Tom shouted triumphantly. The remaining aliens broke formation, attempting to regroup. Their coordinated attack dissolved into chaos. They're transmitting to their main fleet, Mark announced. Sending distress signals. Captain John stood, his expression hardening. Pursue and destroy the remaining scouts. We can't let them report what they've learned about our capabilities. The Defiant charged forward, weapons blazing. The alien vessels, now fighting individually without their networked advantage, were no match for the battle-hardened human warship. In minutes, the skirmish was over. 6 alien vessels, advanced warships that had once terrorized human fleets, drifted as debris fields against the backdrop of space. Damage report, John ordered, returning to his chair. Bill's voice came through, strained but steady. Multiple hull breaches. Life support at 76% efficiency. Weapon systems operational but overheated. John nodded. Make repairs as quickly as possible. He turned to Mark. What's the main alien fleet doing? Mark checked his instruments. They've received the distress call. Sir, they're changing course. The entire fleet is heading our way. A tense silence fell over the bridge. Well, John said finally, we got their attention. Red emergency lights bathed the Defiant's bridge as damage control teams rushed through smoke-filled corridors. The victory against the scouting party had come at a steep cost. Main power fluctuating, Bill reported from engineering, his voice strained. I've rerouted essential systems through secondary conduits, but it's a temporary fix at best. Captain John studied the tactical display, watching the approaching alien fleet with grim determination. Hundreds of enemy vessels moved in tight formation, now fully alert and coming directly for them. How long until they reach our position? He asked. Anna checked her readings. At current speed, 3 hours, 17 minutes. John nodded. And our status? Shields at 41% capacity. Hull integrity compromised in 17 locations. Weapon systems functional but ammunition reserves critical, Anna replied, the stark reality clear in her voice. Tom spoke up from weapons control. Captain, those 6 ships were just their scouts. When their main fleet arrives. He left the sentence unfinished. They all knew what it meant. Lisa suddenly straightened at her science station. Sir, I've been analyzing the data from our engagement. The feedback cascade through their shield network was more extensive than I predicted. John moved to her station. Explain. Their shield technology operates on a synchronized frequency that allows their vessels to support each other defensively, Lisa said, pointing to energy readings on her screen. But that same connection creates a vulnerability. When one shield fails catastrophically, it sends a power surge through the network. Bill, who had joined them on the bridge, stroked his beard thoughtfully. If we could amplify that effect, create a bigger surge. We could potentially disable multiple ships simultaneously, Lisa finished. How many? John asked, hope flickering in his eyes. Lisa hesitated. Theoretically. With enough power behind the initial surge, all of them. A heavy silence fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. What would it take? John asked finally. Bill exchanged glances with Lisa. We'd need to modify our main cannon to emit a precisely calibrated energy pulse at the exact frequency of their shield network. And we'd need more power than we currently have available. The main reactor? John suggested. Bill nodded slowly. Yes, but not in its current configuration. We'd need to remove the safety protocols and overcharge it. That would destroy the ship, Anna pointed out. Not necessarily, Bill countered. At least, not immediately. We might have a small window to evacuate after firing. John paced the bridge, weighing their options. How long to make these modifications? 2 hours for the weapon modifications, Bill estimated. Another hour to reconfigure the reactor. The alien fleet will be on us before you finish, Anna said. John stopped pacing. Then we'll need to buy time. He turned to his helm officer. Set course for the gas giant's upper atmosphere. We'll use it for cover while the modifications are made. As the Defiant changed course, John addressed his crew. I need volunteers for a high-risk modification team. The radiation in the reactor chamber will be beyond safe levels once we begin reconfiguration. He expected hesitation. Instead, every officer on the bridge stepped forward without a moment's pause. John felt a swell of pride as he looked at their resolute faces. Bill, select your team. The rest of you, prepare the ship for possibly the most dangerous maneuver we've ever attempted. The Defiant dove into the swirling clouds of the massive gas giant, its hull groaning under the atmospheric pressure. Hidden within the turbulent storms, Bill and his team worked feverishly to modify the main weapon system. In the reactor room, radiation warnings flashed as safety systems were deliberately bypassed. The massive power core pulsed with increasing brightness as Bill removed limiter after limiter. Reactor temperature exceeding design parameters, Max warned. Containment field stability at 83% and declining. Keep it together just a little longer, Bill muttered, his hands steady despite the growing heat and radiation. On the bridge, John received regular updates while keeping the ship hidden within the gas giant's churning atmosphere. The alien fleet had arrived, their vessels spreading out to search methodically for the Defiant. They're deploying sensor drones, Anna reported. Our position will be compromised in approximately 20 minutes. John nodded grimly. Status of modifications? Bill reports the weapon system is ready, Mark replied. Reactor reconfiguration at 89% completion. John made his decision. Begin evacuation preparations. All non-essential personnel to escape pods. Sir? Anna questioned. This ship may not survive what we're about to do, John explained. I won't sacrifice more lives than necessary. As the crew prepared for the coming battle, John recorded one final ship's log. If anyone finds this record, know that the crew of the Defiant faced the enemy with courage and resolve. Whatever happens next, we do not act in desperation, but with purpose. The last human warship will not fall without taking the enemy with it. The ship shuddered as an alien sensor drone detected their position. Their time was up. All hands, John announced shipwide, prepare for battle stations. This is the moment that determines the fate of humanity. Alarms blared throughout the Defiant as the ship burst from the gas giant's swirling atmosphere. Behind them, the alien fleet moved to intercept, their formation spreading to cut off any possible escape route. Multiple targeting locks detected, Anna reported, her voice steady despite the overwhelming odds displayed on her tactical screen. They're surrounding us. Captain John stood at the center of the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the red battle lights. Status of the modified weapons system? Online but untested, Bill replied through the comm. His voice sounded strained, the effects of radiation exposure already taking their toll. The targeting system is linked directly to Max. If this works, we'll only get one shot. John nodded. And the reactor? Containment fields at 47% and falling, Bill reported. We've removed all safety protocols. Power output is 340% above maximum rated capacity. Life support systems failing on decks 3 through 7, Mark announced. Environmental controls offline. Reroute all remaining power to weapons and shields, John ordered. Everything else is secondary now. Sir, Anna said quietly, escape pod preparations are complete. The remaining crew should evacuate immediately. John looked around at his bridge officers, the loyal few who had refused to leave despite his orders. Each one had served with him for years, through countless battles and retreats. This would be their last stand together. Anyone who wishes to leave may do so, he said. No one will think less of you. Not a single crew member moved from their station. Tom grinned from weapons control. Wouldn't miss this for the world, Captain. The ship shuddered as the first barrage from the alien fleet struck their shields. The Defiant's defensive systems, already strained beyond their limits, flickered dangerously. Shields at 23% and falling, Anna reported. Multiple hull breaches on lower decks. Life support failing, Max announced. Oxygen levels critical in 5 minutes. John made his decision. All hands, don emergency suits. The bridge crew quickly donned their survival gear as the atmosphere thinned around them. Through their helmet visors, their determination remained visible. Sir, Mark called out. We're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. John raised an eyebrow. Put it through. The main view screen flickered, revealing a creature with multiple eyes and grayish skin. Its translator rendered its clicking speech into understandable words. Human vessel, it began, your resistance is noted but futile. Surrender your ship and your lives will be spared. John almost laughed at the absurdity. After a decade of relentless extermination, after billions of human deaths, they offered mercy now? We've studied your kind, he replied coldly. Your word means nothing. The alien commander tilted its head. You have demonstrated unexpected capabilities. We would study these before your species is concluded. Concluded, John repeated. Is that what you call genocide? It is merely evolution, the alien responded. Your species lost. Accept your place in the natural order. John cut the transmission and turned to his crew. Target their command ship. Tom nodded, his hands working the weapons console. Targeting solution locked. Max has identified the primary shield generator of their flagship. All power to the main cannon, John ordered. Divert life support, engines, everything. The lights dimmed across the ship as systems shut down one by one. In the darkness, only the emergency lights and essential consoles remained active. Reactor approaching critical threshold, Bill warned. Containment field at 12%. We have minutes at most before catastrophic failure. John took a deep breath inside his survival suit. Max, are you ready? The AI's voice remained calm. Yes, Captain. I have calculated the precise moment when their shield frequency will be vulnerable. Firing solution prepared. The alien fleet closed in around them, thousands of weapons trained on the lone human vessel. They're preparing to fire, Anna reported. All vessels simultaneously. Max, John said quietly. Fire when ready. The second stretched into eternity as the crew of the Defiant waited. Then Max spoke. Firing now. The modified main cannon discharged, drawing so much power that the ship went completely dark for several seconds. A single, concentrated beam of energy, more powerful than anything a human vessel had ever produced, struck the alien flagship at precisely the right point. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien vessel's shields flared brilliantly before collapsing entirely. But instead of just destroying the single ship, something extraordinary occurred. A wave of energy cascaded from vessel to vessel throughout the alien fleet. Ship after ship experienced shield failure as the carefully calculated pulse traveled through their network defensive system. It's working! Lisa exclaimed, watching her sensors in disbelief. The alien fleet, moments ago organized and overwhelming, descended into chaos. Without shields, their vessels were suddenly vulnerable to their own crossfire and the intense radiation from the nearby gas giant. Reactor containment failing, Bill warned. 2 minutes to detonation. John watched as the alien fleet, their advantages stripped away, began to break apart. Send the technical data on their shield vulnerability to Haven, he ordered Mark. Make sure they receive it. As the Defiant systems failed around them, Captain John allowed himself a small smile. Against impossible odds, humanity had found a way to fight back. And for the first time in 10 years, they had won. The bridge of the Defiant was eerily silent save for the occasional crackle of electrical fires and the strained breathing of the crew through their survival suits. Before them, the viewscreen showed a scene none had dared hope for, the alien fleet in disarray, vessels colliding with one another as their navigational systems failed alongside their shields. Reactor status, Captain John asked, his voice hoarse. Complete meltdown in 60 seconds, Bill replied weakly from his station. The radiation poisoning was progressing rapidly despite his protective gear. No way to stop it now. John nodded, accepting their fate. Status of the alien fleet? Anna checked her tactical display, her eyes widening in amazement. 47% of their vessels showing catastrophic shield failures. Their command structure appears completely disabled. Message from Haven confirmed received, Mark reported. They acknowledge the shield vulnerability data and... He paused, emotion catching in his throat, they send their gratitude. John stood on unsteady legs, surveying his faithful crew one last time. We're not finished yet. Target any remaining operational alien vessels. Use whatever weapons we have left. Tom managed a weak grin behind his helmet visor. With pleasure, sir. His fingers danced across the weapons console, directing the Defiant's remaining missiles toward the largest intact alien ships. Reactor approaching critical mass, Max announced. Shall I initiate emergency core ejection? John considered this final option. Ejecting the core would give them a slim chance of survival, but would also reduce the damage to the remaining alien fleet. Negative, he said firmly. The core detonation will maximize damage to their fleet. We stay the course. No one protested his decision. They had come too far, sacrificed too much to choose self-preservation now. Sir, Lisa called from her station, I'm detecting unusual movement among the surviving alien vessels. They're retreating. The bridge crew watched in astonishment as the alien ships that could still maneuver began to pull away, abandoning their damaged companions. They've never retreated before, Anna said in wonder. Not once in 10 years of war. John's expression hardened. They've never faced defeat before. Max, can we pursue? Engine power insufficient for pursuit, the AI responded. However, I am transmitting the shield vulnerability data on all frequencies. Any human vessels in the sector will receive it. 30 seconds to core breach, Bill warned. John closed his eyes briefly, then looked at his loyal crew. It has been my greatest honor to serve with each of you. What we've accomplished here today will give humanity a fighting chance. Tom raised his fist weakly. For Earth. For Earth, the others echoed. As the reactor countdown reached its final moments, John thought not of death but of hope, hope that somewhere, the remaining humans would rebuild, would remember, would continue. The Defiant's dying sensors detected several small vessels launching from Haven, evacuation ships using the chaos of battle as cover to escape into deep space. Each carried the precious knowledge of how to defeat the alien shields. 10 seconds, Bill announced. Broadcast on all frequencies, John ordered with his final command. To any human ships receiving this message, the enemy can be defeated. Their shields have a weakness. We have shown the way. As the reactor finally breached, the resulting explosion engulfed the Defiant and the nearest alien vessels in a brilliant flash of light. The shockwave expanded outward, disabling dozens more enemy ships caught in its path. 5 years later, a sleek human warship moved through the debris field that had once been the site of the Defiant's last stand. Its captain, a woman who had been among those evacuated from Haven, stood on the bridge of a vessel built with both human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. Sensors detecting something interesting at coordinates 227 Mark 38, her science officer reported. It appears to be the Defiant's data core. Retrieve it, the captain ordered. Hours later, in the memorial hall of the newly established human colony, thousands gathered to witness the playing of the Defiant's final log recordings. Captain John's weathered face appeared on the large display, his voice strong despite the obvious damage to his ship visible in the background. This is Captain John of the HSS Defiant. The recording began. When it finished, the colony leader stepped forward, her voice carrying through the silent hall. We once numbered trillions across hundreds of worlds. Today, we are merely millions. But we endure. We rebuild. The sacrifice of the Defiant and her crew showed us that the enemy is not invincible. She gestured to the viewport where dozens of newly constructed human warships could be seen in orbit, each incorporating the shield-penetrating technology that had turned the tide of war. The aliens thought they had won. They thought the last human warship would be the end of our story. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the gathering. Instead, it was just the beginning. Outside the memorial hall stood a monument, a perfect replica of the Defiant. At its base, a simple plaque bore the words that had become humanity's rallying cry in its fight for survival. The last human warship stood alone. And annihilated their fleet. In the years that followed, humanity would reclaim its worlds one by one. The alien invaders, having never experienced defeat before encountering the Defiant, found themselves facing a resurgent human race armed with the knowledge to defeat their greatest advantage. And in military academies across human space, cadets studied the Battle of the Defiant, the day when a single ship, hopelessly outmatched but unwilling to surrender, changed the course of history with one final, defiant stand.